So a friend of mine a few days ago was like, yo, listen.
Look here! Look, listen!
I want you to do a condensed version of what you did for your live stream about Emu. Just talk about Emu in the video. And it makes perfect sense because the stream itself that I did a few days ago was 5 hours long. Yo, that's a long stream. We're talking about Emu, true. Also talking about Kaido and Katakuri and Luffy and in Canada for a while. So yes, definitely this video was well needed. So a lot of folks can get my understanding of where I perceive Emu as a character right now, and also what the future could entail for this character. And by the way, the name is Emu, not M, because that's what the Viz says. And the Viz, of course, is the best translation by default. That being said, let me start here. Emu is the entity. I can't say male or female. Potentially, Emu could be asexual?
What?
Maybe? A lot of folks have theorized that Emu is a female based on several factors. I think Emu is male based on other factors, like, for example, to me, the eyes and the way the eyes are shaped, they kind of remind me of a male's eyes, but at the same time, the eyes have a crazy look to them. But I think, honest to God, I would say that a lot of folks are going too deep into the eye. Like, oh, well, it has rings around it, therefore, it's kind of like Perona in a certain sense, I think, or it's kind of like Mihawk, and then it's kind of like Big Mom, and so there's ties there. It's like, no, not really. The eye component could just be a feature that Oda gives certain characters because of either a berserker state or, let's say, the amount of power that they wield. Like, I don't think that Emu has a relation to Big Mom, has a relation to Mihawk. Like, no. I think people are just jumping the gun. But I'm pretty sure power would be a nice way of representing that. Because Emu does not appear to be in a berserker state of any kind, like Big Mom was when she has the Rinnegan eyes. So Emu is probably a powerful person. But at the same time, Emu could also be just a figurehead. Emu could just be there. Emu may not have any combat ability. So if Emu were to face someone like Sabo, Emu would lose because Emu isn't combat savvy. That is very possible. Keep that in mind. However, if Emu is powerful but not combat savvy, then that power could come in the form of, let's say, immortality. Because I feel like Emu is someone that is fairly ancient. That's why I see Emu. I see Emu being around when the kingdom fell, the very powerful kingdom fell 900 plus years ago. I feel like Emu itself is probably 1,000 plus years old. And if Emu is that old, then Emu does have substantial power in the form of long life, or maybe even immortality. And a lot of folks have said that the Gorosei, the five elders of the government, they are immortal. So if the answer is in the Opie no Mi for the reason why they're immortal, then the answer could be Emu. Emu could be the reason why they're immortal, where given a certain process, to at a bare minimum, Emu is able to increase their lifespan by several orders of magnitude, and at most, they're immortal. He's able to somehow grant immortality like that, which is insane. Like, only those that are truly loyal and worthy to Emu, he grants immortality. So the Gorosei themselves can also be 900 plus years old.
Holy!
So again, Emu itself may not be combat savvy, but still powerful nonetheless, because Emu is able to potentially distribute high powers like immortality, because a lot of folks theorize that the Gorosei are immortal based on various factors, like seeing them in the past, silhouette or not silhouette, and them still being the same age despite decades passing. How is that possible? Now, granted, there is the Kureha example, where Kureha is 140 plus, as far as I recall, as far as I remember. But in her case, I believe that she ate a fruit, so her lifespan is continuously extending. Emu has, I would assume, a vast amount of knowledge, to where even the Gorosei are saying, listen, whatever light that you want us to snuff out, let us know. Emu clearly wants to snuff out this light. And in this sense, the light would be any force that is, I would assume, any force that would bring down the world government system and order. Or specifically, shining a light on the true history of the world. Those would be lights, if you would, in the sense of Emu and why the Gorosei want to snuff out any light that may threaten their system. Because again, the system itself is kind of built on the notion of whatever went down 900 plus years ago, the Void Century, and probably even further than that from a time standpoint. So Emu has access to this knowledge, definitely. And I would safely assume that Emu is probably a major individual against the kingdom that existed long ago, that powerful kingdom, and probably was even a citizen or leader of said kingdom long ago. Like, I think that Emu is actually someone that came from space, because the way I see it is that the ancient kingdom long ago probably comprised of people that came from the various moons or planets in the One Piece solar system. And this goes back to the globe, where the globe you have, according to the globe, it looks like it's several moons. Though this could be a false representation, and it could be what Ohara think, but they could be wrong. So, again, how Oda spins that in the future, not too sure. But that globe exists, and we know for sure that on the moons, according to Ano's side story, ruins exist on the moon, and we see several pictures of winged people. And on top of that, you have androids, you have robots on the moon. There are ruins on the moon. In order to create robots like that we see in the NL cover story, you have to be somewhat technologically advanced, especially if they're on the moon, especially if, as far as you know, you can't breathe in space in One Piece unless you're like Enel or like some kind of freak like that. If this kingdom was that good to where you needed 20 kingdoms to fight against it to win, and arguably because they're so technologically advanced, those 20 kingdoms probably weren't enough unless there was a betrayer, unless there was someone who saw an opportunity for them to gain massive power in this world. And Emu could have been that person who, let's say, was an individual who lived in this ancient powerful kingdom, but desired way more power. Emu had way more ambition, which may also mean that Emu has Conqueror's Haki. Haki up! Which I would say Emu is probably the only person among the Marines and world government that has Conqueror's Haki. Now, I know a lot of folks vouch for Garp, but as far as we know, no person in the world government or the Marines has Conqueror's Haki. And I think it's for a very legitimate and obvious reason. But we'll save that for a Conqueror's Haki video in the future. Why not? That being said, if Emu had these great ambitions to attain a massive amount of power and influence over the world, that Emu saw that in the 20 kingdoms, betrayed his kingdom, the ancient kingdom that existed long ago, and he was the one, and now we see, Emu is now the one that stands on top of the world government.
Know my power.
The person who stands on top of the world. Well, in this case, technically sits, but stands just sounds cooler. Duh. Now, from that standpoint, Emu is probably, I would say, someone that has come from space. So we're getting a lot of Kaguya-ish. I don't want to say like Oda is taking from Kishimoto and then is gonna incorporate a very Kaguya-like figure in the series of One Piece, but potentially Emu is like that, potentially. And of course, it's gonna be better written. It's gonna be, we're doing it now rather than at the final arc where Kaguya, like, hey, I'm here, like, what? Like, who are you? And then in this case of character molds, right, again, comparing Emu to Kaguya in this sense, this may lead, in the future, and this will be kind of crazy, a team up, the D family. If there is a D family get-together, and they all have to combine their power to defeat, let's say, Emu, because Emu is that powerful. And he's not actually like a figurehead, or his power isn't, let's say, just immortality, but Emu actually has combat skill. Like, Emu's nasty. Like, deadly, devastatingly nasty. Then this would also include Blackbeard. So, would it be the case, potentially, that Blackbeard and Luffy team up at the end of the series to take out Emu? Maybe the entire D family? Like, all the D families? Like, we're talking about Law and the Water family, the Teach family, the Monkey family. If there's any relatives of the Jaguar, which probably are Elbaf, I would assume, the Jaguar family. Maybe someone of the Portugas family still around too. Like, again, it's gonna be this D family team up, and then boom, against Emu. But in this case, the primary people would be Blackbeard and Monkey D. Luffy and the series teaming up against Emu, because Emu would be the final villain of One Piece. Though, I'm not too certain. Because in the grand scheme, of course not, obviously. Because right now we're at the point where Emu was just introduced as a character, like 3 chapters ago. And then in the latest chapter, One Piece 908, as of this video today, we just see him stand on the throne. I'm not too sure if Emu is the strongest person in the world. I mean, maybe at this point they are, but at the same time, you have to recognize that we have people that are given the strongest title already. Whitebeard is given the strongest title, the strongest man in the world. And from a creature standpoint, that's Kaido. Kaido is the strongest creature. I know folks want to say, dragon this, dragon... Kaido, according to the actual story, is the strongest creature in the world. Land, sea, or air, Kaido is supreme. Yes, Kaido took L's, but the context of how he took those L's is up in the wind. We're not sure at all. And I would say that he took those L's purposefully because he wanted to die. Kaido has this desire of death. He wants to die. But no one, as far as you know, nor admirals or Yonko, can kill Kaido. So when it comes to the strongest in the world, we already have 2 folks that fit that title. One is dead, but their powers now belong to Blackbeard in culmination with, as far as you know, the strongest Logia fruit, the Yami Yami. Blackbeard is prime candidate, arguably, to be the final villain. But in all honesty, Blackbeard, according to what Whitebeard said, in the grand scheme of the story, after the One Piece is found, then there's gonna be this battle. There's gonna be this major battle that'll encompass the entire world and then some. Blackbeard, when you look at the story, is kind of just the new world, the Grand Line, if you would. The Grand Line major adversary for Luffy and company. But the story goes well beyond that. I would still argue that in this case, Akainu would be the front man. But Emu is now looking like, clearly looking like prime candidate too, if Emu is actually nice, combat-wise. But when you think about Emu's character as a whole, Emu's character is, for the most part, in the shadows. Yes, Emu's the top of the world, but at the same time, Emu is a secret. Like, no one, as far as you know, very few cats know about Emu's existence outside of the world government. The Gorosei know that, but again, they're world government. So, let's say, hypothetically speaking, those who know Emu's existence would be, let's say, Rayleigh, because Rayleigh and company would know about the Void Sentry. They know the truth of the world. I think he even said that. They know the truth of the world, something of that sort. So, Rayleigh and Shanks would know who Emu is. That's my assumption. I would also throw in Sengoku as well, but maybe not Garp. Because Sengoku, I would say, would know because of, let's say, rank. But at the same time, Akainu, I think, doesn't know. So Sengoku and Garp are kind of shaky. But Dragon, oh yeah, Dragon knows. I'm confident that Dragon knows that Emu exists. So, for now, outside of the world government, I would say, again, 3 cats know that Emu is a thing. Shanks, Rayleigh, Dragon. Those 3. So on that note, Whatever Emu's power structure is like, I think that the best person to fight Emu at the end of the day, the main person on, like, let's say the good side to fight Emu, I think it would be Dragon. I think Dragon and Emu makes more sense to me than Luffy and Emu, or Luffy and Blackbeard team up to fight Emu. Like, that to me is cool, but at the same time it's like it's high fan fiction. High. Whereas Dragon and Emu, that makes sense, especially when you think about what Koala said recently, early on in this arc, where their goal here is not to overthrow the entire world government system, but their goal here is the Celestial Dragons. And if Emu is like the highest authority, and let's say that the Gorosei were given the rank of Celestial Dragon by Emu, because they are very different when you look at them and the other Celestial Dragons, the Gorosei. And the only person that could do something like that would be Emu if you can attain the rank of Celestial Dragon. If you can. With that being said, the person who would be the foundation of the Celestial Dragons would be Emu, and ultimately the end goal of the Revolutionary Army. I think that Emu would be the target of the Rev. Dragon knows of Emu's existence, and his end game here is to take him down. I'm thinking that Emu is Dragon's guy. That's what I'm thinking, definitely. But if Emu comes out and he's like extra nice, like he's doing crazy stuff, then alright, fine, then he's probably Luffy's guy, or Luffy and Blackbeard's guy, end the series. And also, what I want to say here too is that if he is nice from an ability standpoint, from a combat standpoint, what would his powers be? Because again, given his position, he probably has Conqueror's Haki. That's my assumption. But people have been saying that he also got to have the water fruit. And that's because when you take his name, Emu, you flip it around, you have Umi. And Umi in Japanese means ocean. And so if you're looking from that way, there are two possible branches that we can get from that. Number one would be he is Umi, and the world of One Piece is predominantly a water world, albeit there are like exceptions like the Red Line itself, where it's this massive continent that spans the entire globe, and then you have these huge islands like Alabasta, for example, where Alabasta is massive. But despite that, One Piece is predominantly a water world, especially when you look at the Grand Line, where yeah, it is predominantly water. So from the standpoint of the throne itself, him being Emu flipped, he is someone that truly stands on top of the world, maybe even is the world in a symbolic sense, which is very like it's very heavy stuff there. But you can also see it from, well, maybe he does have powers that are water related, and in the sense of One Piece, that'd be really broken, because again, you could control so much of the planet if you could manipulate the water itself. Definitely, absolutely. Though as far as we know, Oda does not want to do that. Oda doesn't want to have a person that can manipulate water like that in One Piece. And whether that person's a Paramecia or Logia, you would figure Logia, given the water nature, and water is an element. But that goes against Blackbeard's powers, where Blackbeard has the darkness fruit, and the powers of darkness are supposed to be the pinnacle powers from a Logia standpoint in One Piece. They're supposed to be. But if you have the water one, that kind of, for the sake of the One Piece world, that contradicts the power structure of at least the Logia, if it's a Logia power. If it's Paramecia, then it gets wonky, but even still, from a Devil Fruit standpoint, the planet itself, meaning like the water on the planet, it goes against the very nature of a Devil Fruit. So the very idea of a Devil Fruit actually controlling water, in of itself, I think is, no. I don't see it ever being a thing, and again, Oda himself has kind of alluded to that's not going to happen. In a movie, there was one chick that could control water, or she was liquid herself, but that's a One Piece movie. We don't take that as actual canon, obviously. Now finally, I do want to wrap up by saying that when it comes to a lot of the things that are kind of shocking and inexplicable when it comes to the world government and their structures and their systems, some of those things could have origins with Emu. So for example, Impel Down is a very impressive structure. It's very impressive. Level 6 touch the bottom of the ocean floor. Granted, I would assume that it's not 10,000 meters down like Fishman Island is, but at the same time, it's not really stated how deep it is, Impel Down. So Impel Down is a very impressive structure. That structure could have potentially have foundations in Emu. Emu gave his followers the knowledge. His followers being the Gorosei and company, the knowledge to build something like Impel Down, or even, to me, the Gates of Justice. The Gates of Justice are ridiculous, and I have many videos planned, but I do have a video planned for the Gates of Justice. I do. But a little teaser of this: the Gates of Justice, that blueprint, the origins of that could be founded maybe in Emu, because again, Emu itself probably has this deep well of knowledge. Because Emu is ancient, was a part of the ancient kingdom probably long ago. Probably, again, that's my own theory. And if Emu is that ancient and did play a role in, let's say, the downfall of the kingdom, because again, the kingdom, as far as you know, should have had the upper hand. When even against 20 other kingdoms, that kingdom was that powerful. But if Emu betrayed them, gave the 20 kingdoms a leg up on that one powerful kingdom, Emu has, again, it has the knowledge. It has the capacity and the roots of things like Impel Down and predominantly the Gates of Justice, which, granted, are simple in nature, but come on, like, what? Emu is probably the person that when it comes to a lot of the weird phenomena involving world government or marine structures, locations, that kind of stuff, Emu may be that dude. He may be the core reason for all of that. And again, that's all based on Emu's, at least my perception of how knowledgeable Emu is. That's my guess. But again, I want to say that for another video when it comes to the Gates of Justice, because I do want to go deeper, and it ties to something specific as well when it comes to the One Piece world. So, that being said, guys and gals, Emu, this is my condensed video, a discussion video for you guys about Emu, where he stands, I should clarify, because again, male, female, asexual, whatever, some kind of weird alien cross, I don't know. Where Emu stands currently in the story, that's my take on that. As well as Emu's role in the future, and my thoughts on Emu's past as well. Emu has deep past. Emu probably knows of Joy Boy. And folks have been saying that Emu's probably a D. I don't see Emu being a D. I really don't. Some folks said Shanks' dad. Omega lol. Shanks' dad? I mean, granted, if it is Shanks' pappy, that is one hell of a pappy. Like, your pappy is broken. Potentially. That's my take on Emu right now. And I was going to say Zeno. That's my take on Emu when it comes to the present, past, and future. And I want to know where you guys stand about Emu. There is more to come with this character for sure. Definitely for sure. And I hope it's going to be some amazing stuff. And it probably will be. Because we always put the G before Oda for a goddamn good reason. So I'm going to see you guys and gals later. Let me know your thoughts on the matter at hand. And be sure to rate the video. It is not that hard to do. I guarantee you that. Because I know that you all have a device called, Zaymouse. Zaymouse, there's a wire that I have to charge because the mouse is wireless, but you can plug it in, you can charge it, so I have a charge. Zaymouse, you use Zaymouse to click, rate the video, to click, subscribe, to click on that bell to join the squad, and of course, comment in the comment section down below. Peace, and have a nice goddamn day.